This is a landmine squat. So I have my landmine set up. I'm gonna come lift the bar up, goblet position, little brace of the core, shoulders pulling in, shoulders squeezing back a bit. That gets me into a nice solid setup. I'm gonna lift my heels just a touch. I almost wanna feel like I'm a little bit springy, almost like I'm ready to run forward somewhere, because this iteration of a squat is gonna get my body leaning forward a bit, which changes some of the angles. And so it helps to hover the heels just a bit. From there, I'm gonna come down, drive back up. So I have a bench behind me to help spot my depth. But on this, I can play with my foot position. Talk about depth in a minute. So if I come back, my body's a little more at an incline. That might feel better for you. Or I can scoot feet forward a bit, and I'm gonna be a little more vertical. But here I went a little too far forward, and now it feels really awkward, so I want to sneak it back. So there's gonna be a little bit of playing with your foot position to feel what's right for you. And then I found it can be helpful to have a bench to let you know where you are on your depth. So I have that bench there, go down, so I tap it, press back up. This is one of our lower benches. It's about right for me. What we're looking for is we get a nice, good depth, but no pinching in the hips and no rounding of the lower back. So if I just come away from this bench for a second, now that might be too shallow, or now I'm kind of rounded and stuck down here, and so I want to have a nice in-between, and so a bench can be really helpful. There might be a little trial and error to figure out distance between the bar and the bench and height of the bench. Some rules of thumb I found is the bench, if I'm starting my calves right against the bench, I want to see maybe 2 inches between where the bar is and where my toes are. So 1 to 2 inches. So I'm going to scoot this back just an inch. So now calves on the bench, I got about 2 inches between where the bar is and the line of my toes. I'm going to come up on my toes a bit, and then that bench is right there. So for your height, I'm going to play around with it, but that can work. And then height of the bench. So this bench is about 2 or 3 inches below my knee crease, and that might be a starting point, but I can make this a little higher effectively with a balance pad. So now that's pretty much even with the crease of my knee, coming up, and my squat just isn't quite as low. Totally fine, especially if you're starting out. And then of course, you can build a lower platform, but for most people, this lower bench is gonna work out just fine. If you wanted something lower, some of the wooden boxes that we have go a bit lower. So that's the landmine squat. It's a really good option if maybe there's low back pain on a classic back squat or front squat, if there's trouble in the hands or shoulders, gripping a barbell on your back, but you're progressing away from kind of a dumbbell. Sometimes we'll use it to get the hips moving in different ways. And so it should feel nice and explosive as we come through. Just from the front view, like any squat, I want to have my center of the knee tracking over center of the toes. But I have my heels elevated the whole time, pressing these out, and then I can really explode up. So it's a landmine squat with a few updated technique cues to hopefully get the most out of it.